Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Sounds Like Sam. I'm your host Sam. Thanks for tuning in. This week I wanted to address the quarterback room for the Steelers. I'm going to tell you some options that I've seen being thrown around. I'm going to give you what I would like to do, and then we're just going to go from there. First off, it looks like at the moment with the Steelers, I feel like both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are up in the air. Like, I think both of them have a reasonable chance to come back. I'd say it's at the moment, if either of them is going to come back, I think it's going to be Justin Fields, which I personally wouldn't mind having again because he's a young player and he obviously got us wins and he was on a good projectile with what he was doing with the Steelers. Looking at his stats of his first 6 games with the Steelers, I thought he did pretty decent for himself. He had 1,106 passing yards, 5 TDs, 1 interception, and then he also had 289 yards rushing and 5 rushing touchdowns. So if we were to multiply that by 3 to get us to 18 games, which would be like 1 game over, if he were to hold that same pace, he would be going for 3,318 yards. He'd have 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, like a little bit over 700 yards receiving, and then 15 rushing touchdowns. So we'd have about 30 total touchdowns if he were to do that. But then again, that's also a hypothetical, and that is going like 1 game over too. So I don't know. I just feel like I'd like to see more of him, and I think he did a good job with the time that he had, and I just feel like even though he might not be the best passer out there, he's got enough NFL experience and enough of a quarterback presence to win us games. He's kind of got the X factor in him too with his legs, which I like, so I do like that as an option. I've seen rumors about maybe bringing in guys like Aaron Rodgers or Sam Darnold, maybe going someone in the draft, Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe. Personally, I don't know that I'd. I mean, I just don't know that we could afford Aaron Rodgers. Otherwise, I might be interested in giving him a shot for 1 year, but I don't see that happening. Sam Darnold, I think he had an awesome year this year. I'm hyped for him that he did so well, but if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I want him as my quarterback. I just feel like even though he had a great season, he had like a complete team around him. And at the moment, I don't think the Steelers' wide receiving weapons are going to really help him. I would hope that maybe Pickens, if he does come back or isn't like traded or something, that he could be a good option. And then I hope that Mike Williams will have the whole, if they decide to bring him back too, that he'll have the whole playbook. I'd be excited to see how he turns out, but I don't know. I just feel like with the games that he played, he obviously won 14 games for the Vikings, but I think their schedule was easily like one of the easiest schedules probably for any NFL team. Um, in my opinion, I mean they played like 10 of the games they played were versus below 500 teams, and that's in regards to the Bears, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Jags, the Colts, the Jets, 49ers, and the New York Giants. Like all those teams were under 500, and those were all teams that they beat. The only teams that they lost to were the Rams and the Lions. The only over 500 teams that they beat were the Packers, which is in their division, the Seahawks, and the Texans. That was it. I just feel like doesn't necessarily bode well for him because I feel like the Steelers always have a pretty tough division. Like it's always super tight. I don't know if Sam Darnold's good enough to beat the Ravens twice a year or beat the Bengals twice a year, especially because those are big games too. And like what he showed with like in that Rams playoff game, it just seemed like he wasn't really prepared, or if he was just like it was too much for him, which I completely understand. But you know, at the same time, I'm not a NFL quarterback, and I don't get paid millions of dollars. So I do think he could be an option, I guess. I would just prefer the Steelers not to go that route. But if they were, I would want to see them only do like a 1 or 2 year deal. And it would sweeten the deal even better if they could bring in like a guy like Justin Jefferson. I think if that was in the mix, that they could trade for Justin Jefferson and get Sam Darnold and bring Sam Darnold on too, then I think I'd be okay with that. But that's basically like the only way I see me actually like liking the idea of bringing Sam Darnold is if they also bring Justin Jefferson. I think that would be a nice little combo. Otherwise, the idea I was kind of liking was trading our first round pick, which right now is 21. The first round pick 21. I think the best thing that they could do is honestly trading for Joe Milton, the Patriots' backup quarterback, who was the rookie last year, playing behind Drake May and Jacoby Brissett. He played in the last game of the season versus the Bills, and even though it was like basically like a garbage time game, he still had a nice game. He threw 241 yards, threw a touchdown to Douglas, rushing touchdown. He did run the ball for 10 attempts and only had 16 yards, which isn't great. But overall, I like his comparison. Size-wise, I like to have the bigger quarterbacks. I think they just perform better in the NFL. He's a 6'5", 247-pound guy. And to give that you referenced, Ben Roethlisberger was 6'5", 240. So if they could get him, who has already had a little bit of experience in the NFL, who's a big guy, and then maybe bring along, if they can, if they could also trade for Booty, Kayshon Boutte, who's on the Patriots too, who was his wide receiver weapon of choice when he played the Bills, and Boutte went 7 for 7, 117 yards and a touchdown that game. I think that could be another great option for the Steelers to do. Because if I'm being completely honest, I don't know that I trust any of the quarterbacks in this year's draft. I mean, I've heard good things about Jackson Dart, and I still like Jalen Milroe, and I think Will Howard from Ohio State, but I don't know if he's going in the first round. I haven't really looked too closely at him, but I'd honestly prefer to go after Joe Milton. I don't know. I think I like that he's a little bit of an athlete. If we do bring back Justin Fields, he can try to learn behind Justin, or Russell. Maybe Russell would be the better one to do. But I just feel like if we're looking at a future quarterback, the thing to do is to get like a young guy that they like. And I think Joe Milton has what we're looking for. Yeah, that's my thoughts with that. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed the episode, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to message me. Make sure you subscribe to Sounds Like Sam, and have a good one. Peace.